France versus Morocco, a game that had a lot going on in it, both behind and on the field. Behind the scenes, a lot of chatter about the entire Argentine setup for the refs. People are linking it to corruption towards Argentina winning the World Cup or getting bonus help or whatnot. But I think the refereeing was fine. I don't think he had anything really wrong for missed calls or anything or missed anything major. Maybe like a small foul or whatnot, but nothing that changed the game. I will say though that the way that it took so long to get the penalty call confirmed, I think was a weird mistake. I don't know why it took so long. There was nothing in it. I think it threw off Mbappe honestly for that pen. So Mbappe had a penalty in the 20th minute, and it took so long for him to be able to take that shot. And I think it was really threw him off. He complained to the ref a lot after, saying like, "Why are we taking so long?" I think that was a bit of a weird decision. I think it was a combination of him being put off by waiting so long to take the pen, and Bono just making a pretty good save, throwing him Mbappe off even further with his antics of being an octopus in goal. But the rest of the first half, pretty quiet in my opinion, because right after the penalty miss, they immediately went to a water break, and that kind of cooled the rest of that half. They had a couple chances right at the end of the half, but as you can see here, they had the water break, and it was kind of tempered for the next 10 minutes or so. Second half started out really hot for France. They immediately got going, created few good chances. I think Dembele came close a couple times. Then Mbappe had that really good shot, which resulted in a goal. Bono had nothing, couldn't do anything about it. And then 6 minutes later, Mbappe let it on a plate for Dembele, who scored another outrageous goal. These two combined, I think, are just insane. I think this entire front line is just insane for France. I don't think there is a better attacking team in the world right now for talent-wise. Like, these are all pretty young-ish players. Dembele's on the older side, but he can. They have Barcola coming through. They have Fran Cherki coming through. Mbappe will probably play another World Cup or two. Desiree Doué is only 21, starting World Cups and going crazy. Elise is 24, still has another few World Cups in him minimum. Who's it that came on? Barcola's 23, probably has a couple more. Yeah, like I said, Ryan Cherky 22, so he'll have a couple more in him. And there's a bunch of people that weren't even called up for this team that are pretty good French attackers as well. For Morocco, they went home on a woeful performance. I think everyone besides Bono can hold up their head, or can't hold up their head really. I think the team having to rely on Brahim Diaz and Hakimi to get anything out of their games is worrying, I think, when they're going up against European talents, because they're both on the right side, and when you got a team of France's caliber, where they have Kone, Rabiot, Luca Digne, Saliba, Upamecano, Jules Koundé, who are really physical, they're just going to bully you off the ball, and they can send an extra person out there to stop them from creating anything, which then relies on young talent like Bouadidi, who's only 18. And yeah, he's a player who's getting looked at a lot by other people, but when you have such a good French team, you're not going to create any chances, and he did that. Brahim Diaz couldn't create anything either. Had one blocked shot. That was pretty much it. Hakimi got two chances. They were nothing. They weren't really amazing chances. Yeah, they were like something could have happened from it, but it wasn't like this could have resulted in a goal. Issa Diop was just overwhelmed, and same with Mazraoui, who I don't know why he's playing at a center back. I think Morocco could benefit from playing a different formation in the back, maybe having Hakimi as a wing back, Mazraoui as another wing back. I don't know much about this Salah Eddin person. I don't watch a lot of Serie A, but I assume he's a decent player if he's playing for Roma at such a young age. So I can't say much about that. Talibi, I think just a young player, inexperienced. I think a lot of this Moroccan team is young, which is good for them going forward. They're developing a lot of good players. I think they just got out experienced and overwhelmed by a better French team. I think Mbappe being injured will potentially be a worry going into the next game against the winner of Spain and Belgium on the 14th. But he was icing his foot, so I'm assuming it wasn't anything too major. He walked off, was able to cheer, so I'm assuming he'll be fine in a few days for that. For going forward, I think the French team here has one big challenger left, and that is Spain. I think Belgium won't be much of an issue for them if they play Belgium, but I think if they play Spain, arguably I think the only team in this tournament, maybe bar Argentina, that could rival them for the trophy. So that will be a really good game if Spain gets through. Which, who knows if they get through? We'll talk about tomorrow. But in my opinion, it's most likely going to be France versus Spain, which will be a really good semifinal game. But going back to France Morocco, I I think the French team has an issue of potentially not being clinical enough right now. The last game they played against Paraguay, they only got one goal. This one they got two, and they had 22 shots, 8 of them being on target. I feel like they could have scored a lot more during the Sweden game. So they scored 6 goals in the knockout so far, but I feel like they could have scored way more. The last 2 games they could have been a lot more clinical. So I think that's a bit of a worry that they are not um, scoring as much as they're creating. And against a team like Spain, that might come to hurt them. But as of how good they're playing right now, I think many will let it slide. But we'll see. We'll see on the 14th if they can hold on and maybe score goals in a tough environment.